दरवाजे जरा
Dear participants, we are pleased to see you among us at the 4th International Humanities and Social Sciences Research Congress. We are holding the 4th Congress online. The first was in Aranya in 2018, the second was in 2019, and third was online again. 102 papers submitted to our Congress and 75 of them were accepted. Participants were coming from different countries such as Turkey, Pakistan, India, Philippines, Indonesia, and Cyprus, North Cyprus, Turkish section, Iraq, Iran, Uzbekistan. Our Congress will start at 10th June and finish on 14th June. The sessions can be watched on the Serkan D 1975 YouTube channel. The papers presented at our Congress will be published in the abstract and full textbooks. The editor-in-chief of our journal, Associate Professor Dr. Mustafa Yiğitoğlu, Congress Coordinator, me, Professor Dr. Serkan DİLEK, and our editorial board members, Dr. Can Doğan, Ömer Faruk Haber Getiren, Erhan Tecim, Şükrü Maden, Mehmet Haberli, Cennet Göroğlu Demir. And our assistant is Gerard Karador. We thanked all of them. Also, we would like to thank all participants, keynote speakers, and viewers to meet at our 5th International Congress. Now, we will start with our keynote speakers. They will make a keynote speech. Our speech will last about 15 minutes. And the first of our keynote speaker is Professor Dr. Ahmet Ali. Professor Ahmet Ali, do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. Respected Professor Dr. Serkan, I hear you. May I start?
Thank you very much. Professor, you can start, please.
Okay.
I give permission
I will stop,
to share.
I will stop my video due to the internet connectivity. Okay. Begin with the name of Allah. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad wa barik wa sallim. Respected organizers, Professor Dr. Serkan DİLEK, all other organizers, supporters, distinguished guests, keynote speakers from Indonesia, Philippines, and neighborhood country, the Great India. I, Dr. Ahmed Ali, Assistant Professor, Department of Sociology, Abdul Wali Khan University, Mardan, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Pakistan, say to you all salam and greeting from Pakistan. After that, I'm thankful on giving me an opportunity to speak in 4th International Conference on Humanities and Social Sciences. From the great Turkish nation, respected, due to online nature and time constraint, I am coming to my speech. My speech in this conference will be based on the pillars of positive peace. Respected audience, keynote speakers, organizers, the pillars of positive peace describe the attitudes, institutions, and structures that underpin peaceful societies, which is the demand of social sciences and humanity. Now, question arises, what are the positive peace? What is the positive peace? This is a question mark. Positive peace represents an ambitious and forward-looking conceptualization of peace that moves beyond conflict and violence. It brings better economic and societal outcomes, as well as dwindling the number of grievances and the levels of violence. These pillars are, the first one is well-functioning government. Well-functioning government or the shape of state is the first pillar of positive peace. Second one is sound business environment. A well-established state functioning government, this is the duty to provide sound business environment. The third pillar is low levels of corruptions. We cannot vanish corruption from this society because we are human, not angels. So to minimize the corruption. The fourth one is acceptance of the right of others. Being human beings, we need to accept the right of others, the right of elders, the right of neighbors, the right of females, the right of males, the right of childs, the right of aged persons, and so on. Anyhow, the right of non-living things, the right of plants, the right of animals. The fifth one is high levels of human capitals. We are to develop, we are to grow the human capitals, the human capital, economic capitals, the social capitals, the minds, the body, the health, and other things. To modify it to extreme level, we have to try. The sixth pillar is good relations with neighbors. Good relation with neighbors and offices and villages at state level, irrespective of religion, irrespective of caste and class, irrespective of color and wealth, and so on. The seventh pillar is free flow of information. This is the cry of the humanity to share information with each other. The simple example is the freedom of media, and to preach and to propagate news, information and media which are for the benefit of human beings is the seventh pillar of positive peace. The last one is equitable distribution of resources. One is the equal distribution, and second is the equitable distribution of resources, and capacity of health, education, approach to or justice, other things must be equitable, not equal. Equitable means if a person is sick, maybe richer, maybe upper class, maybe lower class, but he needs health facilities. Respected audience, associated with this, some principles which make society pleasant and healthy are below are given from the Holy Quran are. The first one is rebellious evil person comes to you with a new, verify it. If a person says something about another person, you are to verify that news. The second one is making a peace between conflictive parties, to separate, to bring peace, and to solve the conflict between the conflictive parties. The third is fight with rebellion and insurgents groups, with those who challenge the peace, or must fight with them, not to challenge peace. The fourth is making reconciliation between and among conflicting parties with justice and equity. If you make justice, if you want to bring peace, if you want to solve the conflicts between the two parties, must be on equity basis. The fifth one is reconciliation between two opponents. One is the conflicting parties and second is the two opponents. Must to bring them close. The sixth one is do not scoff at another group. Don't say something, don't scoff, don't laugh at another group. The seven is don't defame one another. The eighth number is don't insult one another by nicknames. The ninth is don't spy, detect, neither backbite one another. The number 10 is don't say bad words to the gods of others. It means don't insult. Believe on interfaith harmony and don't say bad words to the gods, to the religions, to the holy places of others. The next one is don't eat the wealth of others for reaching to upper class. This is as to menace corruption. This means to menace corruption and strictly prohibit the masses from corruption. The next one is do not go nearer to the wealth of urban if you have the worries not to do justice. This basically expresses the right of children. If they have parents, either not have parents, but this is the responsibility of the peaceful society to support them. The next one is avoid conversation with ignorant with things. A person, he is in conversation, he is talking with you, he is arguing with you, and he is ignorant or she is ignorant. Please, with peace, with thanks, avoid that person because it gives birth to conflict. The last one is give respect to your parents. The last one represent and support the family life, parents, children, daughters, and other members. Respected audience, due to the time constraint and online nature of the conference, I am going to finish. But the last sentence of the above described principles adopted and it need preaching and practice, and this teaching practice adaptation is the duty of state to ensure reward punishment against those who avoid it. Thanks. I finished my keynote speech in, I think, in a very short time. I'm thankful all of you and request to Professor Dr. Sirkan DİLEK to proceed the conference. I am ready for support.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor. Also, please care about your camera because sometimes your hair can be seen, but your eyes and your mouth and the other parts of your faces cannot be seen sometimes. And also now time is Mr. Ratnesh will join later. Now Muhammed Ueyip Usayip, I think he is here. Professor Muhammed Ueyip, hello to Indonesia. Can you open your microphone? Muhammed Ueyip, can you open your microphone, please?
Okay, Professor.
We hear you very well.
Okay.
Okay, I think now you can start, please. Your time.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Aleykümselam.
Thank you very much. Good day for local Indonesian time. I would like to thank you, especially to Professor Sirkan DİLEK. I see here too. There are my colleague, Professor Macario from Filipina. I am happy to join this conference. I get to share information and knowledge through this conference. I am Muhammad Uhaib Asad from the Department of Social and Political Science, Islamic University of Kalimantan South, Kalimantan Province in Indonesia. My concern studies, my focusing studies, and my research related about political corruption, local democracy, election, and corruption in natural resource management. My presentation I will to deliver related democracy and local oligarchy. This is the term, is very actual term today in Indonesia, democracy and the rise of local oligarchy. It's well known, Indonesian today in political transitional in consolidation democracy after crackdown, Suharto's government, Indonesia in process democracy today. The process democracy today, before political reform under Suharto's government, no direct election. The dynamic of politics under control of Jakarta. The political system very centralized and very authoritarian under Suharto's government as president. Under Suharto's government, the democracy in Indonesia is very difficult. Now, after Suharto's government, the political situation and economic life in Indonesia today not more good before Suharto's government. Democracy today very, very capitalistic. Who we to be competition local government must be spending a lot of money. Money is everything. Money dominated in competition of local government today. Or will to be candidate local government must be spent a lot of money. It is the problem democratization today in Indonesia. The democracy like black market of democracy. Local election massively money politics, massively food buying. Just only the candidate, a lot of money can competition to be local election in Indonesia. This is the dark democracy today in Indonesia. This is the serious democracy, the danger democracy today in Indonesia after General Suharto's government. The nation, the United Nations, call Indonesia as one country, the biggest democracy today. But in the practical democracy, no, it is not reflected good democracy. The democracy hijacked by economic, hijacked by local predator and a local oligarchy. Democracy hijacked by market and financial. Many local positions supporting financial for the candidate to competition to be local election, like in South Kalimantan province in Indonesia. So that many local government capture corruption. It is the impact high cost democracy in Indonesia. The local government, how to use the position, how to use institution, how to use authority to abuse of power, how to use institution to rent-seeking economy and to buy networking with actor politics and actor business to capture economic and political resource to maintain of the power of local election. Now, this is the part of my research in South Kalimantan province. My research, the result my research, the politics and business very connecting link relationship cannot to separate between politics and business. Business and politics, one side connecting link and other side supporting the local government, supporting by businessmen to be competition in to be head local government. In the democratization era, the high cost democracy many impact. One impact, many had local election, elite capture corruption, to rent-seeking behavior, and massively corruption and collusion, and businessmen to supporting to hijack democracy like in Kalimantan, South Kalimantan province. The result of my research, I will to to share you, Indonesia now most several province elite our local health election, local health government capture in political corruption and policy corruption. It is the impact on high cost democracy in Indonesia after political reform, after crackdown Suharto's government. The democratization today is not running well in political life and economic life. The economic just for minority people, local elite and local oligarchy accumulate economic resources. The boss local position supporting financial who be candidate local election. We cannot too hopeful how to become substantive democracy. So far, how to build substantive democracy? The democracy today in Indonesia just formal democracy, just procedural democracy, not substantive democracy, so that local election, how to use institution and authority to rank-seeking money, rank-seeking behavior by competition in local election. The local election to be instrument collusion between actor, national actor and local actor. The election not only to be democracy, process democracy, but election to be instrument collusion to instrument to build networking actor, how to build the strategy and political patronage and clientelism between a local actor. This is the problem today in Indonesia, the practical and economic life in Indonesia after Suharto's government. We cannot to hope for the result of local election, how to build substantive democracy, just the limit procedural democracy and formal democracy today in Indonesia. Thank you very much. I like presentation from Banjarmasin City, South Kalimantan Province. We hope for any comment from participant from my pointer presentation talking about democracy and corruption in Indonesia. Natural resources to be instrument corruption. Natural resources management to be instrument corruption between local elite. How to hijack democracy in South Kalimantan Province. Thank you, Professor Sirkan DİLEK. Thank you very much for your opportunity to join for this conference. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Aleykümselam. Thank you very much, Professor Muhammed Waib. And now time is for Professor Ratneshli Viveti, but I think he is trying to connect now. He has connection problems, I think. Professor Macario Gaeta. Professor Macario Gaeta. Now Please and welcome, of course. How is Philippines?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Delik, Sir Delik, for the opportunity as one of the guest keynote speaker in ITOBIAD 2020. So I'm really proud of my country, the Philippines, as I will discuss with you the different trends and issues in
Mr. Professor, I think there are other voices now. It is like a wind.
okay, because you know it's very hot in the Philippines. That's why I have my electric fan with me.
Okay,
So that's
now
that's annoying
we
sound.
can hear you
Okay.
very well. Okay, it is now okay.
Okay, I will discuss with you the different trends and issues when it comes to the strategic quality management in hospitality, travel, and tourism in the new normal Philippines. Because we all know that one of the most affected business or industry in the world is, of course, tourism and travel, and of course, hospitality. Because according to the Department of Tourism in the Philippines and the United Nations World Tourism Organization, of all the continents in the world, it's Asia and Oceania, so the most affected continent. In fact, um, yeah, it revealed that 94% of loss has been damaged to tourism industry in Asia and of course and the Oceania. So my presentation this afternoon will be, a gauge for this perennial problem that we are facing nowadays. But by the way, I'm Dr. Macario Gigayata from the University of the East in Caloocan in Metro Manila, the Philippines. And then I'm also teaching in the graduate school. I'm teaching master in management and the Doctor of Philosophy in International Tourism and Hospitality Management at the Philippine Christian University, also in Manila. Because you know, in this time of pandemic, we need to have uh, 3, 4 part-time jobs so that we could survive in this economic situation that we have now at present.
Ada kawan beberapa orang tukang jahit mamanya itu tukang
I
langgadang
will
jahit.
share with you my PowerPoint presentation. I'm just taking pictures while I am talking because it is what we call documentation for us. Okay, I will start my presentation. So I hope this presentation will go through as okay. I'm presenting this. Okay. So there are different trends and different issues in the implementation of what we call the strategic quality management. And one of the issues known as the standardization, which is not the normal, can no longer be the norm because you know, in this time of the COVID-19 pandemic, it's critical to personalize and adapt the services to the needs and the preferences of the different travelers. And there's in this time of pandemic, we need to create value and then we need to focus on the niche market because more customization and specialization enable increased value creation for hospitality, travel, and tourism companies. But be careful about the value proposition, which is not offering on the simple branding and rebranding. So in this time of pandemic, there is a need to rebrand all the products, and of course, because there is what we call the customer satisfaction. Number three, there's whether we like it or not, we are exploiting technology because you know in this time of pandemic we are using technology. Technology, for example, for booking our travel, or for example, even booking all of the things as we wanted to go. But please be very careful that we need to be cautious and we need to have a safety precaution when it comes to health protocols. And then there is a social responsibility, which is moral and economic, and that is our obligation. Because right now there is the what we call the impact of the global warming, because in the Philippines is now the summer has just ended, but still it's very very hot. That's the reason why we're experiencing a lot of rains, and then the Mother Earth is, I guess the Mother Earth is complaining because of the pollutants that's in the environment. And then the growth in increasingly tourism development in the Philippines, specifically in the Boracay Island, which has been underwent into a rehabilitation in 2018 that changed the people lifestyle, because this is one of the perennial problem in the Philippines of the different types of tourism, like the plethora of sun, sea, and sand beach tourism, which is being polluted by the different foreign and international tourists. To move on, so this is the Boracay Island, the Philippines. It was rehabilitated then last October, April 26 to October 16, 2018. And right now, this very pristine and a very serene place, the Boracay Island, one of the finest beaches in the Philippines, is now operating in the new normal of Philippines through the Department of Tourism. So another thing is that the development is more responsive, and then there is what we call a resilient business models has been um, riskier and prone to crisis. So the many travelers continues to grow. And according to Calypsi and Yai, they suggest that strategic management process and shareholders play a very pivotal role when it comes to scholarly focus in managers on the different tourism businesses. So I will show you now. So this is the impact the COVID-19 on the Philippine tourism industry. As you can see here, so there are different continents in the world, and that's what I've said a while ago, that Asia is the most affected continent in the world in terms of tourism. So the WTO emphasized that tourism and hospitality industry are among the sectors that has been affected by the COVID-19 outbreak. So the closure of the different borders, the airports, and the closures of the different hotels, as well as the different restriction on mass gatherings, although there are many countries who are now allowed their countrymen to go in the gatherings, to land travel, and to different activities. But in the Philippines right now, mass gathering is still very restricted, but you can travel, but you need to observe the social distancing. So there's around 100 to 120 million jobs that's being at risk. In the Philippines, it's almost 90, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 90% of the people have lost and retrenched from their job, even in teaching. Teachers, professors, different educators around the world are suffering right now because, there are different losses in terms of economics. So next, almost 97 destinations have closed totally, with including 65 destinations being suspended, with international flights and 39 destinations re-implementing and closing the different borders and banning the arrivals of the specific countries. That's according to WTO. But right now, since it's new normal in the Philippines, so there's no more banning of foreign tourist arrivals, and then we are welcoming now tourists from different parts of the world, provided that they have had what we call the vaccination. So international tourist arrivals declined in 22%, and 80 billion US dollars resulted into the global tourism industry. So there is 97% that say that COVID-19 is potential for the significant impact on the business operation and causing a very great concern. When it comes to top concerns, the top concerns is all about financial and operational impact, the decline in tourism demand, and then there is a decrease in tourism confidence and lengthen the travel restriction globally. It's really happening right now. The effects in the workplace and the funding difficulties. Next is the hospitality industry. What's the impact of COVID-19? The primary focus of the different government is for the safety of the people. Hospitality, travel, and leisure, the clients are moving quickly, and then they remain focused to understand the quantity of the operational and financial impact for the business. The impact of COVID-19 is very huge, and it is not predictable, both on the revenue and supply chain. That's the reason why decision being taken to shut down the different hotels and restaurants, theme parks, cinema. We don't have cinema in the Philippines. It is already closed. And not to mention the entire disruption effect of the travel ecosystem with significant impact on the worldwide tourism. Because in terms of ecotourism, there are different types of tourism, like the sun, sea, and beach tourism, the nature-based tourism, and of course, the waterfalls tourism, river tourism, and the different types of tourism being affected by the COVID-19. And then the Philippines had a stellar performance in 2019 of 8.3 million tourist arrivals, which is equivalent to 550.2 billion pesos in the international tourism receipts. And right now, we're assuming that more than 500 billion will come to the Department of Tourism, so that tourism in the Philippines were apprised, and of course, not only in the Philippines, but also in other parts of Asia, including Turkey and Georgia. So recovering for the new normal Philippines. To help recover from the outbreak in new normal, the Philippine government added 5 million pesos in additional funding to normalize the operation of the different tourism businesses. Majority needs of funds, and the small and medium enterprise also need to rise up. And of course, the marketing fund to rebuild the brands, and of course, the refinancing of the different tourism businesses. As what I've said, the micro, the macro, the medium enterprise are planning to avail the government grants and subsidies to help retrieve the operation. And of course, restarting the tourism sector, we need to have the tax incentives. We need to rise up to promote the different subsidies, and of course, create tourism events and other, and other MICE programs, and of course, revitalize the different tourism programs and, the different revenues of tourism. So to get back in flight, right now in the Philippines, there is what we call, there are different beautiful islands, because the Philippines is surrounded with 7,700 islands, whether it is rise and low. And then for this, promoting medical tourism is very popular in the Philippines. The spa tourism and agritourism are the programs that our country is now prioritizing, aside from the sun, sea, and beach tourism, and of course, the cultural heritage tourism. So, so to restart, there's what we call the decline of more than 79%, and international tourist arrivals are expected dramatically, and it happened because the tourism industry declined very vastly. So for this, there are different trends in the strategic quality management. The strategic quality management, or STRAMA, involves a different delivery of the different products and guest services according to the expanded standards. Delivering quality services is one of the major challenges of the hospitality managers will be facing in the following years, because it's very essential for competitive and global hospitality markets. So there are different various measures to improve the quality service. Can be serve qual, serve qual, hotel qual, or histo qual, that could make the recognition for tourism and hospitality industry. The manager should definitely record and weigh the impact of the post profit of these tourism industries. And then this shows that the stakeholders perceive quality service as value for money. Of course, it's very important. Be friendly to the staff, and there are many tasty foods. So the survey shows that there is a room for improvement of the different hospitality services, and results reveal in the survey that the most important factors for hotel future are the guest satisfaction, guest reservation, and of course the WOM, or the mode de bois advertising. So aiming for excellence for strategic quality management. So there are different things we need to know for this. For example, if really wanted to promote your tourism and hospitality business industry, you need to cope with this different measures for you to aim for the excellence. And of course, I'll show you the different top tourist spots in the Philippines. And for this, thank you, ITOBIAD 2021, and thank you, Georgian University. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Macario. Now, I think Professor Ratnesh Diviveti. Professor Ratnesh, are you here? Okay. Professor Ratnesh.
I am here. I am here, sir. I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Professor.
Just 1 second. Just 1 second, sir.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. Hi. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Professor.
Oh, this is Professor Dr. Rakesh Dwivedi. And
Okay.
I am
Your
an
side,
award.
please.
It's very
Yes, we
honorable
are ready.
moment. It's very honorable moment that Humanities and Social Sciences Conference has gathered so much highly placed scholars, professors, social scientists, and it's very honorable moment for all of us that we all are presenting in this conference our research findings in a time when most of the world is just coming out of COVID-19, a crisis which has almost shook the entire world for past 1.5 years. Very turbulent time it is, very tough time, not only for people in general, but also for academicians, because this is a field where one needs to take one-on-one classes with the students in classrooms. But for past 1 year, we all are we all are not being able to interact with our students in person. We all are confined to our houses and talking to our students, our colleagues through video conferencing and Zoom meeting. So we needed such, we were in tremendous need of such conferences like Professor Sherkan, and I was talking other day that when we talk about Indian Urdu, Professor Sherkan's Indian name in Indian Urdu will be pronounced as Professor Sher Khan. Sher Khan, Sher means the lion, and Khan means somebody who is of very noble origin. So Professor Sher Khan, I will pronounce him as per Indian pronunciation. Professor Sher Khan invited me past year, and this time too it's very honor for me, not only for me, but for all the people who are presenting their teams or otherwise. It's very honorable moment for everybody to share the opinion and thoughts. I wish Professor Sher Khan and his entire team at his university, who has put tremendous effort to gather such Nobel scholars from around the world. It's really indeed need a lot of labor, lot of networking, lot of effort, And I hope over the past over the next 3-4 days, we all will be enlightened with so much new knowledge and new findings in this conference, where I am also going to present a couple of my papers. With this note, I end my keynote address. I again thank Professor Sher Khan for inviting me as keynote speaker, and I wish everybody who is participating in this conference over the next 3-4 days all the very best, and I hope such more conferences are organized in near future. Thank you very much, Professor Sher Khan, and everybody over there.
Thank you very much, Professor Ratnesh Diviveti. And we all thanks to our keynote speakers and Professor Raur, our next keynote speaker, cannot connect because of electricity cut in his country. But he will be with us in our next session. We thanks to all of you. I hope that we will be together in our next sessions. Our next session will be start approximately 1 hour later. Thank you.